Hello, here we go. It's the Cop-Eye Podcast.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the Cop-Eye Podcast. And yeah, I'm Mick. I'm joined by Kristian Andersson. How you doing, Kristian?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, good. I just thought we'd do like a early one, 12:30 in the UK, just because we haven't done a show, obviously previewing the Palace game, and we would have had Jay, but Jay's a bit busy. I'm doing this in my lunchtime, so they can't have me there. This is lunchtime for me.
Same with me.
I'll message Pete later. Check that.
Yeah.
Check that. You've put that in. But we've already got Paul in. Paul says afternoon all. Afternoon, Paul. Nice one for jumping in. I hope you're not texting and driving like I thought you were before. And then we've got Doug as well. Good afternoon, guys. Nice one, Doug. Nice one for jumping in. But yeah, we've had to wait a long time for this one, Kristian. It's been 9 days that we have to wait for this. And I was thinking actually, Palace have had to wait 10 because they were the first game of the season, weren't they, on the Friday? So it's even longer for them. But like the fact that we've had to wait 9 days, it's felt like 6 weeks, hasn't it?
Yeah, it felt like it took a lot of time just to wait for us to play. And when the season starts, it's always you just want to see every game, like every second day, I would say. But obviously now with the results that we saw yesterday and when Man United play as well, it was quite nice. You sit back and just relax and just look forward to tonight with them results. So yeah, looking forward to it. And I guess you're going to the game tonight, Mick.
I am. I can't wait. I went to the Strasbourg friendly, but obviously there weren't that many first team players. And Curtis Jones wasn't playing, neither was Naby Keita. So then it was just like a load of kids, which was good. But then obviously it was tarnished because Kanate picked up that injury that still kept him out, which wasn't great. But yeah, can't wait. And like you said, there's been some funny results yesterday. It wasn't yesterday, was it? No, I'm losing me days. Saturday, Man United getting beat by Brentford. Absolutely. I just saw loads of people on Twitter saying like, it's not even funny anymore for Man United to get beat. I was like, it is. It will always
be funny. Yes.
I don't get that mentality, do you?
No, like they are our biggest driver in terms of biggest club, and everything there with trophies and stuff. And they had their time back in the 90s and the early 2000s when we were not that good, even if we won some trophies and all that and had a bit of a height, but then dropped again. Now they've been dropping for a few years and not in the Champions League, not playing well, doing shit now in the league. And yeah, just enjoy it, because at some point they will come back to, they always do. So just enjoy the time when they're not doing well.
Exactly. Enjoy it, because like I said, our childhoods were ruined by Alex Ferguson and them lot. So we need to, now the coin's been flipped, we need to enjoy it. But we've got John in the chat as well. John Moore. Hi guys, hope you're both doing well. Nice one, John. Yeah, both good. Both looking forward to the footy tonight. Can't wait. But I don't know if you've seen it, Kristian. Klopp done like an interview with Sky Sports. I watched it earlier. It was like a 13-minute video with someone from Sky Sports about like obviously the start of the season, the slow start, Darwin Núñez and stuff. And it was quite funny because he was like talking about like people like just clipping stuff about Darwin Núñez online and like making a joke out of it and just judging people too early, and like kind of made like the analogy saying you wouldn't start a new job and someone says to you like, oh, you're shit, don't come back tomorrow because you've been bad on your first day. And it was just kind of stuff like that. That's like you get it. And obviously we've seen the goal against City and the goal against Fulham, and hopefully a goal tonight, maybe as a starter. So it's just one of them things. You need to give people time. And I think he even mentioned the similar things with Haaland as well. Like these players need to come in and have time. Obviously there's a big price tag there, but patience is kind of what Klopp's all about and what Liverpool are all about in terms of transfers, what we've seen in the past with Fabinho and Robertson and all kinds of other players. So it's a funny one, isn't it? The fact that the world's kind of out for people to do badly, even when it's obviously, if you're a rival fan, you can kind of accept it a little bit. But yeah, what do you make of it all?
Well, I think, it's weird that you want someone to have obviously we wish for someone to have an impact straight away. Like you can just come in and score goals, that would be brilliant. But not all players do that, and depends on what position and all that as well. But like you mentioned, we've seen with Fabinho and we've seen with Robbo and everything. They come in and getting slowly into the team. They get used to the style of play. They get used to the intensity. They get used to how Klopp want them to, behave and react and all that kind of stuff. So I don't think it's strange that Nunes is not starting, but obviously what we've seen in the last games and the goals he scored, I hope for him to start tonight, because I think he's a threat straight away. But we have to give players time. It doesn't matter who it is, because it's like you said, if someone comes into a new job, even if that person was a bricklayer or a communicator or whatever before and doing the same kind of job, it's a new working place, a new environment, new teammates or colleagues or whatever you want to call it, and they need time to just settle in, and not every player settle in straight away. And obviously with Nunes not speaking English, it will take a bit of time for him to maybe, pick up some football language, if you like, and, he gets help from the Spanish players. But it's like myself, obviously I'm Swedish. English is my second language, and we learn it here from an early age, and we can, get around the world speaking it. But obviously you know that you might not get yourself understood straight away or understand everything that someone would speak and tell you when you start a new job, or if you're in a multilingual environment. So just give them time, relax, and what we've seen already seems fine. And I hope he will start tonight, because I really want to see him play and score goals. But we need to stop stressing all the time about players and that we need this and that. I just think we can just enjoy and relax and trust Klopp, because he's done the right things since he came to the club.
Yeah, I think it's quite. I think it's a good thing in a way. Obviously, that it's only people usually on Twitter that you've obviously had maybe one interaction with in your lifetime, or they just pop up with a message going blah blah blah, Nunes is shit, or this and that. It's the people that you surround yourself with that obviously know what's going on and what to expect from players so early and stuff like that. But we've just got a few comments I want to fly through. Doug's put Man United getting smashed by Brentford was hilarious. Yeah, absolutely. Darwin Nunes versus Martinez next week will be a really interesting battle. Yeah, so was he 5 foot? Was he 5'9"? And Darwin Nunes is 6'2".
But a midget centre back.
Yeah, I think he saw it in the goal Ben Mee scored, where he's trying to like jump for it and he's fallen over. And Ben Mee's fallen over a little bit, but he's still just so tall that he just heads it in anyway. But yeah, that I can't wait. Obviously, we want to get tonight out the way first, and then if we do well tonight, then if we batter Palace in the way that we should do, considering how bad we were last week in terms of the whole start of the game, and obviously got a point out of it, which was good. But yeah, we need to start a lot better tonight to ahead of that Man United game. We've got Dave in the chat. Nice one, Dave. The lads with fire emoji. Nice one, Dave. Paul, it was great coming back from the back to see the scores. Yeah, it was. I was absolutely loving it. Doug again. Mick, I really enjoyed your chat with Sam and Rimmer. Nice one, Doug. Yeah, it was boss. He's a legend. Like, it was funny. It's only funny because I had like a 40-minute time limit on Zoom because me premium had ran out like an absolute scruff. So I had to just say, like, we've got 40 minutes. But in the end, that kind of works, because I think if you go over that, sometimes you're kind of just waffling on about. I mean, I had loads of questions I didn't get round to, but he's kind of said he'll come back on soon to have a longer chat. So we'll do Sam and Rimmer part 2, and maybe do like a cooking show where he can teach me how to make some food and that. That'd be good. John saying big up Dave, and then we've got Liz. Happy match day. Yeah, happy match day indeed. Happy match day indeed. Can't wait. And we're on 9 minutes, Kristian. So I just thought we might as well just jump straight into the good stuff and team predictions, really, because I think the only area that we can discuss properly is the midfield. I think obviously Alisson's going to start in goal. We know that. We know Gomez is most likely to start centre half, because obviously I mentioned before Konate got injured in the Strasbourg game. We don't know when he's going to be back. Matip then picked up something hopefully minor in in training, and I think he'll probably just sit this one out and then be back for the Man United game, hopefully. We don't want to put too much pressure on Joe Gomez, especially he played right back last year now and again when we needed them to towards the end of the season. He'd done really well, but we don't want to put too much pressure on him in terms of centre-half performances. So it'll be good to see him tonight, though, won't it, Kristian? Gomez and Van Dijk back again. They're like a proper bromance off the field. So obviously the league title winning season, they were both instrumental in that. So it'll be nice to see Joe back, won't it?
Yeah, and he's a personal favorite of mine. I think I mentioned it last time when he came. He was only like 17, and you could see straight away when he's started coming in and play games at that young age that he had something. And I think he's been a brilliant centre back for us. Sometimes, yes, mistakes and all that, but you knew that he was young, and now he's come a little bit more of an age, and I think he's obviously more experienced. He's played besides Van Dijk, and he had that season, like you said, when we won the Premier League and even the Champions League. It was great, and it was very young then. So it's no problem. I think he will come in and do a great job for us, and I think it's only healthy for a team of Liverpool's level that we got so many options. Obviously now when Matip Konate is out injured, I'm just very happy that we got Joe Gomez and that he actually signed a contract. So brilliant to have him playing centre back besides Van Dijk tonight. It's it would concern me if there was someone like, I wouldn't say I wouldn't put any bad words on Nat Phillips or Reece Williams after their performances that they did for us, but it's another level having Joe Gomez playing.
Yeah, I think it was Nat Phillips. I'd be excited to see it, but given I don't know if there's pressure on tonight, but I think there's pressure in that we need to perform and we need to win. I think it might be, we know Joe Gomez's class on his day, and for me, he's one of the best English centre-backs, so he needs to hopefully show that tonight, and obviously he's been guided by Van Dijk, so he's in the best possible position in terms of that. But John's just put a comment in saying, what's people's midfield three tonight? Mine's Fab, Naby and Elliot. So obviously that's Fab sitting, Elliot on the right and Naby on the left. Just for everyone in the chat, just give us your midfield three, because we're going to just have a little chat about that now. And Kristian, what are you going for?
I think it will be Fabinho, Henderson and Elliot. I don't think the Klopp will remove Henderson even if he had a bad game against Fulham, because I think in this kind of game where we need to react and show that Fulham was just a one-off, I think he wants his captain to show the way and also show for himself that it was just one-off. Form can come and go, but I think Henderson knows himself that he wasn't good against Fulham and he wants to turn that around. And I hope that we see Elliot, because Keita just come back from, I don't know if it was an injury, if he just felt ill the last time, but if he hasn't been, in training, I think Elliot is more physical ready for the game. And what we saw when he came on against Fulham was really, really good. And if we wish him obviously to be that, superstar that we think he can be, but also that he needs to start playing games regularly for us. Even if he comes in from the bench and, makes his mark on a game. I think now when he's 19, I think if you should become that kind of a player that we wish for, he needs to play, for us. You be a starter for us. If you think, he's going to be that midfielder for Liverpool and England in the future, in the likes of, it's hard to compare with Gerrard and Lampard and Scholes and them kind of players who always played for their clubs and always played for the national team. But if you need to become that level player on that higher level, you need to play and you should play in your team. So I just wish for him now to keep on playing, and he will be the one that can replace Henderson and Milner. Obviously Milner probably stays for another year, but he can replace them in a longer term of time. So I want to see him ahead of Keita, just because I think it's time for him to shine. And we saw it last season before his injury. He was brilliant, and I think that he got that in him at the moment as well. So for me, it will be them three, hopefully.
Yeah, I agree. But we'll have a look at what other people are saying. So Doug's put Alisson, Trent, Gomez, Van Dijk, Robbo, Fabinho, Elliot, Keita. So yeah, same as John, and then obviously Diaz, Nunes, Salah. However, I wouldn't be surprised if James Milner starts tonight or Costas for Robbo, but we shall see. Yeah, another interesting one. John, has agreed with that. Who else have we got? We've got Ferox on PC. Nice one, Ferox. I don't think I've seen you in the chat before. Nice one for jumping on. Then we've got Dan saying Henderson, Elliott, Milner. Oh,
So, that's a different one.
That's what I mean. We're saying we've got no options, but there is options. It's just we would
And
like it to be a bit more. Yeah, Thiago, it would like to be an option. I'd like him to be fit.
And I guess with that, Dan Jay says that is Henderson probably in the Fabinho role and
In the
like
six.
defensive. Yeah. So
yeah, I mean, I was considering this last night because he could. There's so many ways he could do it. He could. I think it's a given Henderson starts. I think it's whether that's in the 8 or on the right side or the left side, or the 6, and then he goes without Fabinho, plays Henderson in a 6, and because it's the first Premier League game back at Anfield, and we need to perform tonight. It's just whether he goes, well, let's go Fabinho because that's security, or go Henderson, who's got more of an engine in terms of getting up and down the field, and also is going to be that leader on the pitch as well.
Yeah.
But Dan makes a good point, because if he goes Henderson and Milne, he's got 2 leaders on the pitch there. So
yeah, and you got the option for the future as well. Like Henderson's not getting younger. He might not, he's at the level where we know where he can do, but he probably won't be any better anyway. But he can play that role because he don't need the legs in the same way. He needs to read the game in another way. So we're talking about, injuries and no options on the midfield and stuff like that. But with Carvalho and Elliott, the youngsters, we got Milner still for another year. We got Henderson, who can play in a Fabinho role if we want to, in different kind of games, depending on who we meet. So we got the options. We just need to trust Klopp to mix it and tricks it for us, and I think it will be all right in the end.
Yeah, definitely. Liz has put Fab, Hendo, and Naby. Yeah, I'd be surprised if Elliott doesn't play after the Fulham game, and obviously, I don't know if him signing a new contract. Obviously, he signed a new contract after signing a new contract last year. With new terms and whatever that, like, probably more like goal bonus stuff and assist bonuses in there, maybe to try and pull out a bit more of that potential, like you said, in terms of him only being 19, and he needs to maybe be dropped into these games with this pressure, and he can kind of just pick up where he left off from last year before the injury, hopefully.
Yeah, I think it could be a conversation of Naby starting if it wasn't for him being out last time. Then I think, Klopp would have liked to see him play again, because there's been talks about, extension of his contract and all that. So it seems like Klopp still rates him, wants to keep him. He's in the right age. He's a good footballer, a good midfielder. It's just that we haven't seen his rhythm. He hasn't played regularly for us because of injuries, and when he comes into the team and score great goals, then he's out again because of some issues. So I think Klopp rates him and wants to hopefully see that he can progress this season and stay fit. But obviously now, when he wasn't in for Fulham and Elliott played that well, I think Elliott will start, because I think he's more ready, like I said, more in the physical way of the game.
Yeah, definitely, and it's nice to have options. Like, obviously, it's someone that I wrote down as well, and I think some newspaper done like a, can't remember what newspaper it was, but they done like a predicted 11, and theirs was Carvalho in left centre mid, which is someone that we haven't mentioned yet, and the chat hasn't mentioned. And I think that's something, coming back to what I said at the start of the show, the Klopp interview with Sky Sports, and he was asked about midfield options, and he mentioned Carvalho has played at the left of a forward 3, but he can also play in midfield. And I thought that was like maybe is that a little hint, maybe not for tonight, but going forward, that he could play that left centre mid role, because we know he's not scared to get stuck into a tackle, and we know he's got the ball carrying ability that left centre midfielder needs to have, hasn't he? So I think that's potentially another good option in it.
Exactly, and if he comes in, he seems to be doing a good job. We saw in the Championship, it was brilliant. He's a young lad who can play and come in from the bench and, change things for us in a game. And I think the Klopp sees him obviously every day in training and sees that he's a gem, and he wants just to, slowly, make him going into the team. I wouldn't say that he becomes a starter straight away, but like we said about Fabinho and Robertson, no pressure on him. He's got the talent. We will probably see him play a few games coming from the bench, but we won't just start him for the sake of it because he's a young lad. And also he needs to, get right in the environment and in the club and all that. But if he, turns out to just progress all the time, obviously then he will start, because if you're good enough, then, it doesn't matter what age. So we got the options, and I think he can play in that role as well as at the offensive three, as you mentioned.
Yeah, definitely. And it's just, it's nice to have, obviously, where he's going to play in the future, I have no idea, but I suppose that's a good thing. But the potential is definitely there. Liz has put, Hendo is really good in the 6 and fires up the squad. Definitely. I think that's just what we were mentioning before. If he wants to play Hendo, like Dan says, if you play Hendo and then bring Fabinho on around 60 minutes and make sure he's fully fit for the Man United game, that also makes sense as well. So, few options, but I can't wait to see. He'll probably just pick something that none of us have said now. He'll probably go Elliot and Carvalho, and then Hendo in the 6.
Yeah, I'm going to put in consideration as well that the United game is another week after. So we got another 6-7 days to go into training, and after this game, hopefully with no injuries, just to make us ready for Man United. So it's no stress like there's another game in 3 days. So I would start with the best team available to have a reaction from the Fulham game, and to actually go and hopefully win this game against Palace with a few goals, to just feel that we're on the right way. Then we could go into the Man United game with more self-confidence and feel that we got the rhythm going, and we can just obviously see from their results that we could be on top of them like we did last season. So, win this game, and then we can focus on Man United.
Yeah, definitely. And Liz has just put, what was the score on the Brentford United game? Yeah, well, it's funny. It's a funny one because obviously they got battered. But the more you think of it, even if we do well tonight, I'll still be worried about next Monday, because, like you said, there's another 7 days to another 7-day gap to kind of for it to start stewing. Obviously, if we win well tonight, and like we should do, like I said before, especially after the Fulham game, then the optimism will increase. But it's one of them. If we win tonight and not convincingly, then it's just like, I think social media is just going to continue to be a cesspit, isn't it, for another week?
Yeah.
So stay off it if that happens. But hopefully not. Hopefully we'll batter the Palace tonight and get ready for the United game and try and pile more misery on them. I think that he's Ten Hag's the only Man United manager to lose his first 2 Premier League games, and that's the first time it's happened for like 101 years, which is just
I think it was like 1921.
1921.
Yeah, something like that.
I love these type of stats. I love them. First manager for 101 years to do it. It's absolutely hilarious.
Pressure's on to be the first ever to lose 3 then.
Oh, I know. That's what I mean. It's like there's winning, there's beating Man United, there's getting extra 3 points, then there's piling on more misery on them, which is obviously cherry on the cake. Well, I just thought before we get into like score predictions and stuff, I just thought we'd talk a little bit about Palace. Obviously, they've, like I said at the start of the show, we haven't played for 9 days. They haven't played for 10, so they've had a long time as well to stew over that 2-0 defeat to Arsenal. And I watched that game. Did you watch the Palace Arsenal game?
No, I was away, so I couldn't.
Oh, of course, yeah, you're on your holes. But yeah, I watched it, and I thought Palace were quite good. They had a few good openings, and probably should have took at least one of them. I think there was a good save by Arsenal's keeper on one of them, and then a bad miss on the other one. But I just feel like that. So in terms of their last start 11, it was Gaeta, Klein, Andersson, Gehi, Mitchell, Doucouré, Schlupp, Ayew, Eze, Zaha, and Edouard. And on paper, I don't think that sounds very threatening. It sounds quite basic. I mean, we know instantly you look at Wilfried Zaha, don't you? Obviously on that left-hand side, up against Trent. That's going to be... I think we always say this. Every time we say we play Palace, we say, oh, we need to be careful of Zaha. And I don't want to jinx it, but he does good stuff, but usually we're too good as a collective to kind of, for him to have that much of an impact, and hopefully that'll be the case tonight.
Yeah, and it's the same with SA. I think, he's a brilliant player as well, what we
Yeah.
saw from last season as well. But like you said, I think we as a team is so good, especially at home at Anfield as well, and we know the drill. So they have offensive players that can, make problems for us. But I don't think there will be, like you said, no jinx, but I don't think there will be that kind of much problems if we can just step up and react from the last game and do our thing. Crystal Palace won't have that many chances, I assume. Hopefully we can step up and do it, but like you said, looking at the paper, the starting 11 on paper, it doesn't sound that dangerous, but it's a home game, so it's more in our hands to take care of it. If you play Crystal Palace away, it's another different story because they are good at home and you got the seller's ground and all that. So yeah, I think they got a few players that can make problems, but I'm not that concerned, to be honest.
I think it's funny because one of their biggest
And Sellers
outlets.
Park, it should be. Correcting myself, I said Sellers Ground for some reason, but yeah.
Good enough. That's the Pro Evolution version. But I was one of their best players and best outlets is your namesake Andersson. Obviously it's spelled differently, but just from watching him, even before he signed for Palace, who was he at last year? Was it Fulham?
I can't remember, mate.
It was someone like that anyway. But I always watched and thought, oh my God, he's really good at those like diagonals out from the back. And I think that's why if we play Nunes tonight, Nunes needs to be wary of that. Obviously, I think Andersson plays on the right of a back four next to Klein. So obviously Diaz will be occupied. Diaz will be occupying Klein, and then Andersson will obviously be looking out for Nunes. But I think Nunes needs to be looking out for him as well, because they'll just be like, well, we'll soak up pressure, try and get Andersson on the ball, diagonal to Zaha into the space. And I think that's kind of what they'll be hoping to do tonight. And I think something we need to be wary of, because I think they tend to bomb down their left side, obviously, because they've got Mitchell, who's a really good left back, and then they kind of play Schlupp as like a midfield too, but he also drops into left back as well to kind of cover for Mitchell, which I think they'll be just absolutely swamping Mo Salah tonight, those two, trying to stop him. But that kind of opens up more room for Nunes. It opens up more room for Trent and Elliott and plays down that side. So I think it's going to be, I think if we stop Andersson's balls out, we kind of stifle quite a lot of their play, because obviously he plays those balls, like I said, like a Van Dijk-esque diagonals, which can be quite threatening. But we're getting on to half an hour, Kristian, and I'm actually quite happy how many people we've got in. We've still got 8 in the chat. Nice one, everyone. Just get your score predictions in, because we're only going to do another couple of minutes. Score predictions, what do you reckon, lad?
I would say I hope for more, but I think it's 2-0 Liverpool. And I would be, obviously happy with it. But I think, as long as we take that step from the Fulham game, play well, and dominate the game and score, and we can just relax a bit, and we do 2. Then it could be 3 from there, obviously. But I think 2-0 just feels, it just sits right on the tongue.
Yeah, and Dan's just made a good point actually, which I was meant to mention. Like, obviously Zaha will probably be against Gomez and Hendo / Fab more than Trent. I think that it's kind of fell nicely, I think, because we know one of Joe Gomez's biggest assets is his pace. So him being on that right-hand side next to Trent, and obviously having the fullback experience himself, it's kind of like we're double banked over there against him. So it's kind of fell nicely, albeit maybe not. Gomez won't be majorly happy because this is his first game back in. He's like, first game back in, I'm up against Wilfried Zaha, who's one of the most trickiest in the league. So that'll be a tricky one. But Liz has put, I think Nunes will thrive at home and score his first of many. Knock on wood. Yeah, hopefully. Let's just go through these predictions then. So Ferrock says 4-0. Doug's gone for 2-0. Salah and Nunes. Liz has gone 4-0. Paul's gone 3-0. Dan's gone 3-1. A couple of shaky moments, but a better performance than last week. Yeah. I don't want to concede. I think I read, or was on a stream last night, and someone in a comment said we haven't kept a clean sheet in 8. Obviously, that's going into last season as well.
Yeah,
and I haven't checked that, but that sounds right to me. That I think there was like the Chelsea Cup final in between then, but in terms of like full 90 minutes, I think we haven't kept a clean sheet. I think since the Newcastle game, I think, which would be nice if we got a clean sheet tonight, wouldn't it? Because obviously then we've got. We don't want them to get in too many times. Obviously, they'll have probably a few moments, but I think we need to keep a clean sheet tonight if we can.
Yeah. Looking at the stats as well, we played like Crystal Palace away last time. We won 3-1. And before that was 3-0 Liverpool, 2-0 Liverpool, 7-0 Liverpool. So they haven't scored. You have scored 1 goal in 5 games against us.
Oh,
so we obviously, with the stats backing us up there, if we can do the job, they don't seem to be that threatful against us. So yeah, hopefully, and we usually scores against them. So it looks good on the stats, but it's a game, so we never know. It's a game of football.
Fingers crossed, them stats come.
5-0
Trumps. Yeah, so John's gone for 5-0. So we've got 4-0, 2-0, 4-0, 3-0, 3-1, 5-0. And what do you say? Do you say 2-0?
I said 2-0. So I'm the
2-0. Yeah, it doesn't sound as optimistic, is it, that in comparison?
Yeah,
I'm gonna go 3-0, but hopefully more. But I just feel like if we need to start fast tonight, and I think that'll be the message from Klopp: start as quick as you can, like pressing high, like I said, press on Andersson, press on the back four, get the ball early, try and get Nunes an early goal, and then we'll just absolutely.
Do we start Nunes? You think, or you think Firmino will be?
That's it. Yeah, we haven't actually spoken. I think Nunes starts. Do you reckon?
I hope so, because what he's shown, against City and Fulham, he's a threat straight away. So if he can start and get that goal, then it's good for him, it's good for us. Instead of having a pressure of 0-0, say, and if you have to take out Firmino in the, after 10, 15 minutes in the second half, it's still 0-0, and you feel the pressure. It's rather just have Nunes scoring 1 or 2 and then take him off to, just relax, and you put Firmino in. That I'd rather do that, to go for the goals and then control the game. I would hate if there was any pressure on us, in the second half when we haven't scored and we take Firmino off. Then that situation, I don't want to have it. So I hope he starts with Diaz and Salah, obviously on the sides of him.
Yeah, obviously Nunes' track record so far: 2 sub appearances, 2 goals coming off the bench. So if it happens again, obviously we expect him to come on and score. But like Liz says, Nunes starts. Hopefully he does, because we want him to. Obviously, his first experience of Anfield as well, so he's going to be absolutely pumped to maximum capacity. So, it's going to be a good one. Dan's just threw in a little comment there. Alisson, Trent, Gomez, Virgil, Robertson, Henderson, Elliott, Milner, Salah, Darwin, Diaz. Yeah, I think that's. I'd be happy with that. But there's so many midfield variations we just went through. We have no idea what Klopp's going to do, but I think we'll leave it there because we're on 32. But I just want to say thanks to everyone for jumping in the chat. That's been boss, because we haven't done a live for a while, so really happy with that. Nice one, everyone. Like Doug said earlier, if you haven't watched the Simon Rimmer chat yet, then please go and have a look at it. It's only like 35 minutes, but obviously he's a famous Liverpool fan, chef, and presenter on Sunday brunch on Channel 4 every Sunday morning. But he's a proper nice fella, so if you want to go and have a look at that, that'll be boss. And yeah, nice one. But yeah, I think we'll leave it there. I think any more comments? Oh, nice one, Doug. Yeah, I think we'll leave it there. Kristian, nice one for jumping in.
No problems.
Try and do one maybe tomorrow or the day after, just obviously discussing what happened tonight. Hopefully good stuff. Yeah, but yeah, nice one, everyone. Nice one, Ferox. My first podcast, and enjoyed it. Enjoy the game, everyone. Nice one, lad.
Cheers.
Appreciate that. And yeah, nice one, John. Nice one, everyone, for watching. Drop a like on the video as well on your way out, if you wouldn't mind, just to help us get those algorithms up and all that. And yeah, nice one to Kristian. Nice one to everyone, and we'll see you next time.